All right, so we are going to start assembling the transmission TH400. I've got the tail end of the transmission mounted here in the vise. I'm going to tilt you up a little bit. Got this all cleaned. This is all wiped out, ready to go. I actually put a little bit of an assembly lube. Put it here on the race. Get some assembly lube on the race, which I already did. On the other side, put this together. Okay, she's good to go. This one, there's a little bit of a flange on here. Okay, that needs to go down, so the bearing race that's pressed in here needs to be a little bit below the surface. Okay, so now that can lay flush. Anyway, I'd already gotten it together and then realized, I didn't film it. So anyway, get this on here. Sits right down on there. Nice and smooth. Here's your two races. There's a race here and a race here. I pressed new bushings into this, and actually, no, I didn't press new bushings into this one, did I? Oh yeah, this one's got new bushings in it. All right, so I pressed new bushings into this. This can only go in one way. I'll show you here in a minute. All right, so put your other Torrington on here. Goes down on where the sun gear is going to sit. Set this guy on there. Okay. Here's the sun gear. Goes in there. There's a chamfer on here. Okay, there's a chamfered side that goes down. I already have this sealing ring on here from before. I didn't bother taking that off. All right, now that we got this down on here, and we've got the Torrington on the inside for the sun gear, we're going to take it out real quick and put the snap ring on here. Be careful doing this because obviously this isn't attached. It's just sitting on here. But we're going to take it down, put the snap ring on. You notice I got some cardboard in my vise here so I don't do any damage. I'm just going to put the snap ring on over here. I'll be right back. All right, got that snap ring in there. Make sure she's in good and tight because it's holding this whole thing up. Okay, so it gets this 4-tang washer. Tangs go down, and there's actually holes inside the carrier here. Then the sun gear goes in with the chamfer down. There we go. Just going to take a real second here to show you. You can see here there's a notch. Hopefully that focus is working. Anyway, there's a little notch right there. Yeah. Anyway, that goes down into the sun gear. Sorry, I was playing with some of this here, making sure I went through all the steps. I was verifying my Torringtons. Never done this before. It's my first time ever doing this. So this last Torrington that goes on top of the sun gear has a pretty good lip on it, but that's okay because that actually fits. That actually fits inside of here. So this top lip will ride inside of here. Now, I can't put this any further together than this today. Because unfortunately, in my reaction carrier, as I mentioned before, I don't have the roller set that goes in here. They were falling apart, and I could not get that bugger together. This is kind of a difficult assembly. If those two pieces won't go together, you're not able to get this piece down on there. When those rollers aren't behaving. So I will have to wait Actually, this goes down into the other part. I can set this down on here. This goes first. Then the Torrington on top of that. All right, so that's all together. But like I say, now I need that the low and rear roller cage got to go in here. Then this will go on top of that. This is the center support. I can show you. It'll go in here. I'm not going to set it down all the way because I don't want it touching the Torrington. It'll suck it back out because I have grease on it. And then this is pretty much all together. Then we can go on to the next project. I'm going to go ahead and put the rings in here. There's 4 of them. I'm not doing any modifications to my valve body, so I will be using all 4. All right, so I was told by the transmission shop, he reminded me, I brought in to have him he pressed his bushing in for me. Real nice guy. Reminded me, don't use steels on these. Use plastic or ceramic or whatever, but don't use steel. Some other people mentioned the staggering these. That they kind of already went on staggered for me. So I'm pretty much ready for installation on the other piece once I get my other roller bearings. So let's go on and work on assembling the clutches. There's a couple other things we can do here before we assemble this. The other guy I watched, he did this. So I'm going to take these 2 out. Let's find 2 that match that, right? So there's one of my seals right here. And I need a smaller one to match this one. All right, so put these lip seals in here. And if I remember right, the lips go up. Okay, so I got that lip seal on there. Do the same thing, put the other lip seal on here. All right, so make sure you have the right seals. I had to go back and double check. That's why I kept the old ones right here. These seals go in. They're facing up, so basically they're facing down when you put them in. That's why you have to have a seal installer, because if you just go to just shove them in here, you're gonna roll that seal up. So you're gonna want to use something. You can use a feeler gauge, a special lip seal installer, whatever you want. I'm gonna put a little bit of grease on these to make them a little bit easier to go in, and then I'm just gonna grab a feeler gauge and see if I can't run these in there. All right, so these three bosses here have to go down into the pockets that are in this. But to get started, you've got to get the seals down in here first. So the upper seal looks like it's the one that's going to contact first. So we'll play around with that one first. And with any luck, this will just go in nice and smooth. Okay. Round and round and round she goes. Be real careful if you're using a feeler gauge that you don't cut the seal. Just go slow. Okay. She's in on that one. Now I got to do the same thing over here. They make plastic things for these. The guys that I've seen other guys use, and they look really convenient. You can get one corner to start. There we go. I got a corner started. Get this back side over here started. Again, you gotta be careful not to cut the seal. You don't wanna saw me sawing there. That's probably not a good idea. There we go. Okay, I got a back corner here where she popped out, but that's okay. Didn't really pop out, I just never went in. There we go. Down in there, It's in that pocket. There we go. It's in there. All right, so now we need to get the springs in here. I just put the 3 springs in here. Just evenly spaced, doesn't matter which hole that they're in. This snap ring just holds that, works into place. Just push them down. They were easy enough. Oh, there we go. Oh, it's a lot easier getting off than let's put them back on. There we go. Make sure that snap ring is in there. This one corner doesn't look like it's in. Alright, she's in there. Alright, so I just pulled this seal out of here. Pull this seal off of here. These little lip seals. And then what I'll do is I'll compare with my new set, make sure I grab the correct ones. Lip seal. Lip seal. Okay, let's go find these in my kit. Alright, so I found the new lip seals. Let's get them installed on here. So I already set my low reverse sprag in here. Let's flip this screen around so I can see what I'm doing. Alright, so this is the center support. I'm hoping this slides in here now, because this other sprag that I had was pretty bad. Hoping that just slides right down in there. And it's stopping on the bearing. What's going on here? Oh, yeah, so I don't think I had this together right. Yep, didn't have it together right. I had it on there, but it wasn't down in all the way. Okay. All right. I've had this together and apart so many times. Please. There we go. The other sprag I had, the springs were so bad that the little rollers were falling out. They were all at different spots. I tried the assembly lube on there, and that did not hold them in place. So I watched everybody else, and it just drops right in. And I read some more, and they said, hey, if those rollers are falling out pretty easily, the little springs, it's a little Z spring. And he said, if that's not holding the roller in, then just get a new one. I mean, it would work fine if you could get it in there, but because it wasn't holding them flat against the outside, I couldn't get this baby in there. So that is finally together. All right, so now I got to look up what else I need to do. We're getting there, though. We are getting there. I was able to borrow a friend's press, and I got these springs. Got these here. I was able to borrow a friend's press, and I was able to get these springs pressed back in here. So I got my I got the pistons back in here. I think I was doing that before, but I couldn't get it. I couldn't get this press down. I borrowed a brake press or an arbor press and pushed them down here. Got the clips on them, so these are ready to go. All right, so I watch a bunch of different people do this. Some people don't put the center support on first, but since I was having problems with that sprag, I want to make sure I had it together. I don't have a stand to put mine together in, so I'm not going to be putting mine together vertical. I'm going to be putting mine together in somewhat horizontal. That works just fine too. I've got it sitting on a table over here. I'm going to carry this over. Remember, this is not together. It's nothing holding it. The center support holds this in place. So I've already got my thrust washer in the bottom that rides up against this. I'm going to put a little bit of lube on here, and we'll get her put in the case. All right, so I need to line up this center support bolt with the center support bolt holding the case down here. So it's going to take a little bit. Just got to be careful. Slide her down in here, get the tail shaft in here. I've already got the band in here. I didn't show that. I've already got the, I believe it's called the reverse band. You got to get them lined up with the notches. Remember, this hole's got to line up here, and I got to make sure this whole thing doesn't come apart as I go. So I'm kind of pushing it together as I go. I've already got the new bushing in the case. So she's looking good, and I probably should have marked the top so I knew where the center support bolt was. Let me just put a little bit of marker on here real quick. No, that's too far. Right there. Okay, it lines up, but it doesn't line up. It's not in all the way. Oh, there we go. Now it's in all the way. Get that center support bolt in there. This is that 3/8 12 point I had to buy a special socket for because I could not get one to fit tight enough. I'll look up the torque later. I'm just going to get him in here and started. I would just put the snap ring in here. There's a spot here where you would put in a case saver where there's no lugs. If you're not using a case saver like I am, just be sure when you put the snap ring in that the main part of the snap ring is here and the gap is over here somewhere, okay? Just walk this down in. The tapered side has to go up. That helps hold it solidly in here, and make sure it gets snapped in all the way around. And I'll have to check the end plate, but that feels nice and tight. That feels good, but it turns smoothly, so it's not too tight. All right, so let's go and get some more of this put back together. So I just put the clutches down in there. I let them soak for about a half an hour. This thing here has a real big support. Same thing. That goes in the spot where there's no support in the case. It goes right over there. Pretty sure it'll only install one way. You could install it upside down. This goes in with the ridge up. But as far as where you install it in the case this way, there's really only one way to do it. And I had it the first time. All right, and there we go. Now, just got to install this snap ring in there. Same thing here with this one. Make sure that the gap in the snap ring is not in the gap in the case. Just going to tilt this down in there, make sure it snaps in. Now, I need to check what the backlash is supposed to be on this. I took out the wave plate, so I need to double check what the spec is on this. I'm gonna go look that up, and I'll be back. All right, after you get this band in here, take your feeler gauge and go and figure out how much play you have in here. And what I read was anywhere between 50 and 100. And actually I've got about 63. So it's about perfect because you could be on the lower end and be just fine. All right, let's get him in here. There we go. Now, got to install I believe the intermediate drum. All right, I've lined up the clutches. Now I've got the intermediate clutch here. It's all assembled. I've got the new sprag in here. It turns to the right, not to the left. That was a really easy install. You just put the sprag on there, put the cap on there, and the snap ring. That was actually quite easy. Let's set this guy on here. Might be a little harder that it's at an angle. The main thing is you got to line up the clutches. So the teeth that are on the bottom of this are going to line up with the teeth in the clutches. And this might take a little finagling to do. All right, so all I did was I kept wiggling it back and forth. Let me try to zoom you in here, if you can see this or not. Let's move the camera up a little bit. So right down in here, the teeth on this, oh boy, I can't even see, yeah. So the teeth on this match up with the teeth on the other shaft, and they're even now. If I were to pull this back a little bit, you can see they're not even. That has to go down all the way even on the inside there. That's how you know you're into all three of them. All right, fresh battery. So I've got that intermediate clutch in. Now it's time to get the front drum in. I have to do the same thing here. You want to line these up. I need a smaller screwdriver. You want to line up the clutches. And as mentioned the other day, I already did the clearance on all these. I think I mentioned in my other video. Who knows, with all the editing, some stuff does get lost. But anyway, I've already done the clearances on these. So now I've got them pretty much lined up. Now I'm going to get the next drum in there. At least I think that's what my next step is. All right, pretty sure we're going to call that the end of part one. I've got this drum in there and seated. I do need to measure the backlash on the input shaft. But before I get to that, before I forget, I got to get the rooster comb in up on top here, because that finishing nail will only go in and out from the front. So it's going to be the end of part one. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, share with your friends, comment if I'm doing anything wrong. I'm really going off a lot of other people's videos, and hopefully I'm doing it at least halfway right. All right, thanks, and we'll see you in the next video.